What's up, 8? What's up, New Beginnings? Just gonna give everybody a minute to get in here. We done really good in NASCAR Truck Racing Series. I got the Xfinity Series on my TV in the background. Looking like we're gonna have a good day there. Still got 3 laps to go in the second stage, though, so you guys know how NASCAR is. One wreck could ruin it all. What's up, Quentin? Hope you guys are having an awesome Saturday. Just giving everybody a couple minutes to get in here. You guys know how we do. This is a tricky slate, gentlemen. Center is a minefield. We've had a lot of good center slates this year. This one is a tricky one. This one is a tricky one. When Trendon Watford is grading out as one of your best centers, it does not bode well. It does not instill much confidence in you. I will tell you that. I'm most likely on the Nikola Jokic train tonight, gents. Looks like we got a caution in the race. I didn't see what happened, though. What's up, Conflict? I know Conflict's a big NASCAR guy. How you doing, buddy? I know you DM'd me on Discord asking about who the winner will be. Well, Austin Hill, like I told you, he has dominated so far. It's been him and Jesse Love the entire race, 1 and 2. Yeah, New Beginnings. Sorry about my voice, guys. I believe that's what I'm going to do. I truly think I'm just going to be playing Joker. The real Laker killer? Who you talking about? Who you talking about? You talking about Jamal Murray? Because I like Murray a lot today, but I'm going to be very overweight on Joker today. Public's on him 18% right now on FanDuel. I'm going to be near 50% probably because I hate center today. I have no confidence in Trendon Watford. I'm never excited about playing Walker Kessler. I really do not want to play Mark Williams. Sengun, he's playable. Dayron Sharp, no confidence. Joel Embiid, not at this price. I like Embiid over on DK, but not on FanDuel. Give it 2 more minutes. Give it to 5:15 Central, and we will start. Just giving people time to tune into the show. Giving people some time to tune in. I think people are going to overlook Miles Bridges today, too. Well, he's pulling 19% ownership right now, according to Line Star. I didn't think it would be that high, but Bridges has been balling lately. You guys know I love LaMelo Ball, but Portland, they clamp down on guards. They rank second against guards. Bridges, after the All-Star break, he has came to play with 52 and 74 fantasy points. I like Miles Bridges today, gentlemen. Alright, it's 5:15. Let's hop into it. Starting off at point guard, Luka Doncic. Should be off a minutes limit. I'm probably still not there, though. His price is a little too high for me when he's sharing the court with LeBron. I'm never going to tell you to take Luka out of your player pool, though. He's absolutely viable. And if you like Luka today, you should absolutely be playing him. I'm just fading, personally. Um, I like Joker more today. I like Jamal Murray on the other side of him today more. Just not getting there, guys. Tyrese Maxey, almost never in play for me when Embiid is on the court. He just doesn't produce as well, guys. Probably gonna be just Xing him out of my player pool. LaMelo Ball, another player like Luka. He's just in a tough matchup. I love him. I'm not going to tell you to take him out of your player pool, but he's pulling massive ownership at 34%. 34%. And I would rather just pivot to Bridges, his teammate who's been on fire lately, and Portland ranks second against the position. No, thank you. Michael, in the Discord, there is a channel called Get Access to Paid Plays. You just sign up on Dub Club there, and then it will unlock the DFS channel. Yeah. I mean, all the Rockets are. Thompson on a back-to-back doesn't really phase me much. I still like Thompson. Jamal Murray, really like him today. He's pulling 17% ownership, but it's only a 4-game slate. I can definitely stomach that ownership from him. Been playing really well since... Well, I thought that game was after the All-Star break, but it's not. Right before the All-Star break, he dropped 71 fantasy points. Last game he played, he dropped 45. We will definitely take 45 from him today. But he played 35 minutes, and that's the important thing to me, to make sure he's playing good minutes. Fernie Simons, I'm really never excited to click on his name. He's pulling 22% ownership as well, and as bad as Charlotte is defensively, they've D'd up the guard position pretty well, ranking 4th in the NBA against them. I will have some Simons in 150 maxes, but I'm not going overboard on him by any means. On a small slate with not much value, Keontae George is grading out as a pretty good play at only 6,200. I definitely don't mind it. You kind of know what you're getting with Keontae. Over his last 5, he's averaging 0.92 fantasy points per minute. Gonna play 30 plus minutes easily. I can stomach rostering him. Russell Westbrook I like quite a bit today as well. I do prefer Jamal Murray straight up. Like, it's no contest. If you can get to Murray, I would much rather play Murray than Westbrook. But if you can't and you still want a piece of this Nuggets team, I think Russell Westbrook is a solid play. Isaiah Collier, he's pretty much the Westbrook to Murray with Keontae George that I just spoke about. I'd much rather get Keontae George, but if for some reason you can't afford the extra $300, Isaiah Collier is playable. Now, I don't want to see Collier in my single entry, but I will have my fair share in my 150 maxes. Scoot Henderson, another guy. I just hate clicking on him. He's fine. If you land on him, he's fine. I'm not excited to see him pop up, but there's really no one else I want to play in his price range, right? He's really the only viable guy in that 5 price range and below. There's no one else I want at all. Banton, Holiday, Hayes, and Vincent. I don't want to see any of them in my single entries, but they're all viable punts. Killian Hayes, if he starts, will be a home run. If Killian Hayes is starting, I will be locking him in. We will get that lineup before lock. I don't really think he starts. I think it's Keon Johnson. And they slam in Williams and Wilson in there with him. But we'll wait and see on that. But Killian should still get some backup run. He's probably my favorite punt play, Killian Hayes is. But Banton, Holiday, and Vincent, they're all viable punts. Any Grimes love? I don't love Grimes, but I will be playing him today because of his price and the fact that we don't have much value. He's just going to fall in. at his price point. He's really the best option you got unless you want to play a chalky Dylan Brooks. So, do I like Quentin Grimes? No, but I do think he has a role to fill in your lineups today. Speaking of which, let's move it to two guard. We just got some news. What is it? Kobe White headed to the locker room. That does not pertain to us right now. Amon Thompson, as New Beginnings pointed out, he is on a back-to-back. I absolutely do not care. I do not care. He is Chalk City, 46% owned. So if you want to fade that Chalk, that is a solid strategy. But I love him. I love the matchup for him against Utah. They rank 24th against the two guard. We know Amon's probably going to be the primary ball handler, and he's been playing out of his mind. This dude is so good. He played 40 minutes last night. Doesn't faze me. He routinely plays high 30s to low 40 minutes. I really, really like the matchup for Amon tonight. Talked about Jamal Murray. Austin Reeves, just a 150 guy. If I hit Opto and I get 10% of him today in my 150 maxes, I can live with it. But, man, he's the third guy now, right? Luka and LeBron are definitely above him in the pecking order. That being said, he has dominated over his last 5 games with 1.27 fantasy points per minute. Don't mind him in my 150s, but I will not be playing him in my single entries. Jalen Green. I like Jalen Green a lot today. Let me put it this way. Amon Thompson, he is much safer than Jalen Green. Jalen Green has huge games and he has terrible games. Let's just look at his last 2. Last night, he put up 49 fantasy points in 39 minutes. Awesome game. If you had him, you were very happy. The game before that, he put up 7 fantasy points in 22 minutes. It's very dependent on how Jalen Green is shooting. He shot 12 for 24 last night. He's pretty much guaranteed to shoot the ball 20 plus times. So if his shot's falling, he's paying off. He's doing well. And Utah ranking 29th against the two guard, it's a great spot for Jalen. I love Amon, and I love Jalen tonight. Jalen's pulling 43% ownership. I would probably rather get to Thompson because I feel like he's safer. But if you can't afford him, because there is a significant price difference here, Jalen is absolutely viable. Do I think Robert Williams plays? I do think he plays. I don't have any kind of insider knowledge or anything like that, but I do think Robert Williams plays, and that has got me completely off Donovan Clingan. Completely off of him. And I do like Robert Williams. If you think Robert's going to play, I think he makes a very good play today at power forward. So he did get that power forward eligibility. And Fernie Simons, we talked about. Kelly Oubre, I have zero interest in. I just will not be playing Kelly Oubre today. He might make his way into 1 or 2 of my 150 lineups. That's about it. He's pretty much at the bottom of the pecking order. The team's going to run through Embiid, and then Maxey, and then Paul George, and then Oubre or Grimes. No, I don't care for LaMelo today. Do not care for LaMelo today. Christian Braun, I like Christian Braun. You guys, if you've watched the show, you know I've been all over him pretty much the past 2 weeks of basketball. I'm not including the All-Star break of that. And he's been eating. Now, first game after the All-Star break, he laid a dud. 17 fantasy points, but the promising side for me, he played 33 minutes. If I can get 33 minutes out of Christian Braun, I'm probably rostering him. I like Christian Braun a lot more than the public does. He's 6% owned right now. Sign me up. I want to double that ownership. Talked about Keontae George. Kamara, I do not mind Kamara today. I think he is a solid play in this 6K to 5K range. Really, really like some Kamara. He has upside. Just showed it in the last game against the Lakers where he dropped 45 fantasy points. More importantly to me, he played 38 minutes. He's a great defensive player. I think he's going to be guarding Bridges. That does concern me a little bit for Bridges. But if LaMelo starts popping off, they could easily put him on LaMelo. Keon Johnson, I think he starts. Line Star thinks he starts at point guard today. Definitely don't mind some Keon Johnson today. I hate his price on FanDuel, though. That's my biggest issue, and I think that's what's keeping the public off of him. He's only 9% owned today on FanDuel right now. If his price were just $300 cheaper, I think his ownership is through the roof. But I like Keon today. I will have a fair share of him. Quentin Grimes, solid value play today. I don't mind him at 5,400. I will take him over Kelly Oubre in tonight's game every single time for the savings you get. He's pulling 19% ownership. I don't mind it. I really don't. This is just kind of a no man's land of pricing here. So Johnson, Grimes, happy to get either one of them in my lineup. Shaedon Sharpe, I have almost zero interest in. Just not there. Dillon Brooks, I hate clicking on Dillon Brooks, but he's kind of filling that role where he just is 4,800. You need that last guy. There's not many options through here to click on. He's really the only viable guy from $4,800 and below. He really is. And that's pulling massive ownership on him at 29%. I'm going to do my best to avoid having Dillon Brooks in my lineups, but sometimes it might be your only option. You think Aaron Holiday starts? If Aaron Holiday starts, he's going to be a smash play. I don't think he starts, though. I think they start Thompson, Green, Brooks, Smith, and Sengun. That's what Line Star thinks, too. That's what I was looking. Nick Smith, he's playable. Would absolutely not have him in a single entry, but I will have him in my 150s tonight. Julian Strawther, only if there's some kind of pop-up injury news that Aaron Gordon's not playing or something like that. It's the only way I'm playing him. Josh Green, kind of same thing as Nick Smith. Just a 150 max guy. Not interested in Goodwin. Svi, I could get behind. I could get behind some Svi tonight. But only a punt play. Only a punt play. Small forward, I like LeBron today. Time does not affect LeBron. I don't get it. 1.52 fantasy points per minute over his last 5. LeBron has turned back the clock. I'm happy to roster him tonight. What should be a fun game to watch against Denver. Dylan Bricks, that's him, bro. I'm a diehard Grizzlies fan. I remember when he was on our team, man. He is a good defender, but outside of that, don't ask him to shoot. Don't ask him to shoot. We talked about Thompson. Miles Bridges, I told you guys I like Bridges. He is taking on Portland that plays some decent defense, and they got Kamara on their team. One of the better defenders in the league, so that's something to be aware of. But this guy's been so hot. 2 games since All-Star break, 52 and 74 fantasy points. But what's sticking out to me is his shots. 22 field goal attempts and 23 field goal attempts. And he's doing everything. 13 boards, 6 boards, 5 steals, 3 steals. He's all over the court. I like some Miles Bridges. I feel like he is getting into his groove. And I feel like this team's going to try to lock LaMelo down and try to force Bridges to beat them. And I want to be there for that. Paul George has forgotten how to play basketball since he injured his hand. Probably not going to have any Paul George tonight, honestly. Over his last 5 games, this is going to blow you guys' mind. He has 0.82 fantasy points per minute. For a guy that was once a superstar, that is atrocious. Atrocious. One time in his last 6 games, he's met value. One time in his last 7 games, he's met value. I'm just not on Paul George today. Denny Advia. If he is starting, I love Denny Advia. If he is not starting, I do not play Denny Advia. Pretty much how it's been for me all season with Denny. Only play him if he's starting. Line Star's projecting him to start right now. I think he probably does too, but if he is not starting and we got that news before, it's the last game on the slate, I would swap. Michael Porter Jr., I like quite a bit today, because he's not pulling much ownership. He's pulling 16%, which on this 4-game slate's not that much. I'm happy to get the MPJ today. He played 29 minutes in his last game out. Only scored 23 fantasy points, but the issue was he shot 2 for 11. Right? He still grabbed 11 boards. He still got 3 assists. If he shot better, he would have made value there. So I like MPJ. It seems like the team has tried to push him to shoot more, and happy to roster him. Larry Marketing, questionable. I'm not so sure he plays. Just played last night. 13 fantasy points in 29 minutes. I don't know what the deal is with Laurie, but his fall off needs to be studied. He went from dropping 60 fantasy points per night to nothing. Paul George more worried about his podcast. That's pretty good. Cam Johnson. I really like some Cam Johnson tonight. Really like some Cam Johnson. He should lead this team in usage tonight, and Cam Johnson has really good upside. He really does. Played 32 minutes in the game before last, played 29 minutes in the last game. I think he's full go for 30 plus today. Over his last 5 games, he's averaged 1.02 fantasy points per minute. And I think if this game is going to be competitive, it's going to be because of Cam Johnson. Really, really like some Cam today. Talked about Kelly and Braun. Rui Hachimura, I don't mind him as the last guy in. You guys know I'm always one to play some Rui. Totally fine with him. Definitely not a guy I'm building around by any means, but if I'm down to my last spot, I have 6K for a small forward. It's going to be Rui. I like him better than Kamara, Keon Johnson, Grant, Grimes. Like him better than all those guys. Talked about those two. Jeremy Grant, what a grenade he is. I'm just not on Jeremy Grant at this price. I'm really not. First game after the All-Star break, he played 30 minutes, 18 fantasy points. I will say his downside was his shooting. He shot 1 for 12. If he would have shot better, he probably would have paid off. But 1 for 12 is atrocious. His shooting this entire year has been very bad. It has been very bad. Talked about Grimes, talked about Sharp. Zaire Williams, he's a fine value piece today. I will probably be over the field on him today if he's starting, which I think he does. 13% owned by the field right now. I'm happy to roster him. Not really a guy that's going to just blow you away, but he should get 30 plus minutes if he's starting. And on a slate where there's no real value, I just want to play the guys that are going to play the most minutes. So happy to roster him today. And if you're in this price range and looking for someone, he gets you off the Dylan Brooks chalk. Cam Whitmore, I'm not very interested in today. He should get a couple minutes, but I don't think he sees that 20 plus that I'm going to want from him. Whitmore is a great shooter, though, so if he gets hot, he could absolutely pay off this $4,300 price tag in 10 to 15 minutes. But that's probably unlikely. So he'll be a 150 max guy for me, and I expect him to show up in 1 or 2 lines the most. Jalen Wilson's like the knockoff version of Zaire Williams. Probably going to have a healthy share of him today because I think he's probably going to play around 25 to 27 minutes. And I'm just looking for the minutes today. I really am. Not interested in Tajani. Tosan and Martin, they're just 150 max guys for me. That's it. And they might pop up 1 or 2 times. Moving over to power forward. Talked about a lot of these guys already. John Collins is questionable. If he plays, I'm happy to get to him. He provides you a safe floor. So if you got a couple guys in your lineup, you're like, hey, I'm really hoping for their upside. They're going to kill me if they don't hit their upside. Throw John Collins in there as a safe pick that'll keep your lineup stable. Great cash game player. Pretty much is always going to get you 30 fantasy points at the very least. Really like some John Collins, but got to keep in mind he is questionable, so that's news that we need to monitor. Talked about pretty much all of these guys so far. Aaron Gordon, I hate the price on Gordon. He'll fall into a couple of my lineups tonight. I'm not excited about it, but on a positive note, he did play 32 minutes first game after All-Star break. So if he falls into my lineups, I'm okay with it. Not necessarily excited at this price, but we do know Gordon does have an upside. He's shown it. But he's just been injured a lot of the year, so. Jabari Smith. He's going to be the chalk value on the slate, and I'm just going to eat it tonight. He's 41% owned right now. He's $5,200 taking on a bad Utah team. He came off the bench yesterday. I said, I'm not going to play him because I think he's going to be on a minutes limit, and he needs to be, work back into the rotation. He played 38 minutes. He hadn't played basketball since January 1st. And they just threw him in for 38 minutes. I don't think he needs to be reacclimated to his minutes. If he played 38 last night, he should be fine. I'm going to be eating the Jabari Smith chalk tonight. It does scare the shit out of me. But when you have no other value options truly on the table, you do what you got to do. Robert Williams, he is another questionable piece I think could be big for us tonight. I think Robert Williams could be huge tonight. If he plays. Last game, Donovan Clingan started and played 16 minutes. 16. Robert Williams came off the bench and played 25 minutes and dropped 29 fantasy points. Robert Williams is a baller. He can rack up fantasy points in a hurry if he is on the court. I'm going to punt and lean that Robert Williams is playing, and I'm going to have a lot of him. He's 8% owned right now. I want to be around 15% owned. I want to double that ownership. Like Robert Williams a lot. Now, if he does get ruled out, we're going to have to pivot. I like leaving enough salary to pivot to Jeremy Grant if you have to. But if we got the news before the Houston game, we could pivot directly to Jabari Smith and be good. Yabasule, zero interest in him unless he's starting at power forward. Then I might get a sprinkle or two in the 150 maxes, but that's about it. We got some kind of news. What is this? That's just Kobe White returning to the game. That doesn't help us. Dorian Finney-Smith, don't mind him as a punt. Only 4% owned. If you're down to the last piece in your lineup, you need a punt play. DFS is a solid one. Don't mind him. No interest in Tajani. I've already told you guys that. Talked about Jalen Wilson. Trendon Watford. I do not get it, guys. I do not get it. He is grading out as my best center on the slate. He's also pulling 45% ownership. 45% ownership. That is tough to swallow for a guy that's going to play 20 to 24 minutes. I'm going to have Trendon Watford, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut his ownership in half. I want a max of 20% of Trendon Watford. That just scares me. It scares me. The matchup's great against Philly, ranking 29th against the power forward / center. And he's played great over his last 5, averaging 1.01 fantasy points per minute. But just a scary thought rostering that much Trendon Watford. Moving over to the center, my favorite center on the entire slate is Nikola Jokic. The Joker. Pulling 18% ownership, I think it's just far too low. Taking on the Lakers. Now, the Lakers do rank 4th against centers, but this is the best center in basketball, in my opinion. Matchup proof as far as I'm concerned. Over his last 5 games, averaged 1.88 fantasy points per minute. He is just a monster. He will be my pay-up piece today. Dayron 10 times better than I do not disagree at all. I like Dayron more than Watford. The reason Watford is just grading out better is the price. That's all it is the price. Joel Embiid, I have zero interest on FanDuel. I do like him over on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, I just can't pay 10-3 for Embiid. I can't do it. We know he's got that upside, but when is the last time we've seen it from Embiid? He hit 61 fantasy points on December 28th. It's the last time he was in the 60s. And really this year, I mean the entire year, he hasn't touched above 62 fantasy points. As bad as I hate to say it, this is not last year's Joel Embiid. Sengun's a fine play. I don't mind getting the Sengun. Now, I will say he is the chalk of the centers at 29% owned. We know Sengun has huge upside, but Walker Kessler's a pretty decent defender down low. Utah ranking 10th against centers. It's just kind of an okay play for me, but on a slate where you don't have any good options, really, I see why people are getting to him at 8,600. Mark Williams. I'm going to talk about Mark Williams for a minute, and you've seen I just took him out of my player pool. I will have 0 Mark Williams tonight. 0, none, nada, zilch. He's pulling 7% owned right now. Going against Portland. Pretty good matchup, ranks 22nd against the center. But I do not trust Mark Williams. That's because this team has Nurkic. They have Diabate. And Mark Williams, he played 29 minutes in the first game back from the All-Star break and only scored 23 fantasy points. Took the next night off. I do not think he plays 29 minutes again tonight. I have him projected for 25 minutes myself. 25. I think Nurk and Diabate both get a little run today. Diabate did set, the first game after All-Star break, it was just a two-man Mark Williams and Nurkic. But Nurkic still played 18 minutes in that game. I think Nurk sees 20 plus this one. Mark Williams, I'm not on the Mark Williams train today. Looks like somebody just wrecked in the race over here. Can't tell who that is, though. Clements, maybe? Not sure. Get back to the show. Sorry, guys. Talked about Collins. Walker Kessler. I like Walker Kessler today, but he's the second chalkiest center. He's pulling 21% ownership, taking on Sengun. Sengun's defense has improved, but he's still kind of a liability in the paint. That said, Houston ranks 7th against the center. Walker Kessler's been decent over his last 5. Averaging 1.28 fantasy points per minute and pretty routinely playing 32 or more minutes every game. Don't mind Walker Kessler at all today. Was it Taylor Gray and Clements? I think that might just help my lineup. I ain't sure, Conflict. I appreciate the update, though. Nick Claxton, I pretty much have 0 interest in today. Donovan Clingan, we touched on it with Robert Williams. Not going to be playing any Donovan Clingan today. Jackson Hayes, if you're just looking for a punt, he is a viable punt at a cheap option, but that's about it. Day'Ron Sharp has huge upside. No one's going to be playing Day'Ron Sharp. I do like Day'Ron Sharp as a punt play quite a bit. Ake commented on it earlier. Watford's going to get the ownership. You want to pivot right off that ownership and play some Day'Ron Sharp? I think that is a great play. You like Landale with Eason, Tate, and Adams out? I could stomach some Landale over on DK, but I just can't play him over on FanDuel. So, with that being said, you guys got any questions about FanDuel before we move to DK? Let me know, and then we'll move to DK. All right. Gonna move it on over to DK then. At the point guard, Jamal Murray is the best play for me on DK at point guard. Told you guys I liked him on FanDuel. I love him on DK where he's even cheaper. 7,600 is just far too cheap for Jamal Murray, and I think he should be much more than 15% owned. Truly, truly do. Keontae George, much like FanDuel, he's just okay. Well, slightly above average, I would say. He's going to get the minutes. His price isn't bad. Grading out pretty well. He's okay. Still love Almond Thompson over on DK. Happy to see him in my lineups. Keon Johnson, really like him at only $5,200. Very solid play as long as he's starting. I am projecting him to start, but we'll get that news before lock. That way we can change it up if need be. And Fernie Simons, just okay. Just okay today. I'll have him in my 150s, but I'm not going to be playing Simons or Scoot Henderson, either one in a single entry. Take that as you will. Isaiah Collier, he's just a little too expensive for me over on DK. Now, I will get some of him in my 150 maxes, but I'm not excited about it. Westbrook, playable today on DK. I'm fine seeing him show up in my lineups. Gonna have no Maxey, gonna have no Reeves, gonna have no LaMelo, gonna have no Luka. I know those are some big names, but they're just too expensive today, in my opinion, when we don't have any value pieces. So I'm going to be fading all those. I'm going very heavy on Murray and Thompson and Keon Johnson. Killian Hayes at 3,600, absolutely a worthwhile punt play. Absolutely. I like Killian today. Then no one else through here is interesting at all except Aaron Holiday if he starts. Exactly, Power. Like, I'm not excited about playing Killian Hayes at all. But when the guy's $3,600 on a slate where we have no value and D'Angelo Russell is out, he makes sense. He just makes sense. At the two guards, Zaire Williams grading out as the best value. Happy to see him. I figure I will have a ton of him over on DK. Only $4,700 for a guy that should start. Should easily see 28 plus minutes today, in my opinion. So, like Williams a lot today. Jalen Green, much like the FanDuel debate, he is riskier than Thompson, but I think he does have a higher upside, and the matchup's phenomenal. Now, he is pulling 38% ownership compared to Almond Thompson's 18%, but he's also cheaper. Still happy to get to Green. I think he has a huge upside today. Kamara, very cheap at $5,400. Absolutely a playable, viable value piece today. Happy to get to Kamara over on DK. Quentin Grimes at $5,100. He is in play. He is playable. I'm happy to see him if he pops up in my lineups. Christian Braun, playable. Not even going to be playing Kelly Oubre at $5,700 over on DK. Not even going to be playing him there. Send it to me on Discord, 8. You know I love seeing your builds, bro. I love seeing your builds. Nobody else down through here is really interesting me at all. I think every single one of these guys are mispriced. Tyrese Martin, viable punt. That's about it. Moving over to small forward, Cam Johnson. You guys, I loved him on FanDuel at 6K or 6.1, whatever it is. I love him on DK at $5,700. I'll give away a free piece right now. He's going to be a core piece for me on DK. He is. Love Cam Johnson at $5,700. Happy to pay that for him. Denny Agvia, absolutely viable. $6,100 is solid as long as he's starting. I think he's starting. Line Star thinks he's starting here. So long as he isn't randomly replaced in the starting lineup by Scoot or Sharp, absolutely load up on the Denny on DK. We talked about most of these guys. Jalen Wilson's playable. Really like LeBron today. The first pay up I'll really talk about. LeBron looks very solid. Happy to roster him on DK. Michael Porter Jr. is fine. Don't mind him. Rui is fine. Don't mind him. Will be playing no Laurie, no Paul George. DFS is a viable punt. And then no one else through here I'm interested in at all. Power forward, much like we talked about on FanDuel, Jabari Smith Jr. He's Chalk City 27% owned, but he should play good minutes today. And that's what we're looking for on this slate. Should play good minutes today. Miles Bridges, told you guys I liked him on FanDuel. Of course I like him on DK where he's even cheaper, 8,400. Happy to play Miles today. Aaron Gordon's questionable, but if he plays, $4,800 is a steal for Aaron Gordon. Happy to roster Aaron Gordon as long as he's playing. And he is probable. Doesn't have Potter out. You talking about Micah Potter? I mean, I'm not going to be playing Micah Potter anyway, but... moving down the line, we talked about these two. John Collins is fine. Don't mind landing on him. I would say I would probably prefer paying down for Denny or Aaron Gordon or Cam Johnson or Jabari Smith. But if for some reason you just really want to roster John Collins, he is fine. Jeremy Grant's just okay. Michael Porter Jr. is fine. Don't say, oh my God, I looked over and seen it conflict. He's in my single entry. He was my punt play. How does he crash when he's in the back of the damn pack all day long? Sheesh. You hate to see it. Is Austin Hill? Yeah, Austin Hill's still leading. Where's Jesse Love? I don't even see him on the ticker. All the way back in 16th? What the hell happened? Take Quentin Grimes tonight? Why would I want to pick the fourth option? He's the fourth option on their team. Now, I don't mind him. Like, he's grading out fine, but I'm not building around Quentin Grimes by any means. But Trenton Watford, he's looking just as good over on DK. He's fine. Dylan Brooks, fine. There's just better options cheaper than Dylan Brooks. Rui's fine. Everyone under Rui, though. Tosan, DFS, they're both viable punts. He had 54 and he's starting tonight. What are you talking about? He had 54. Oh, you're talking about the last time he played Brooklyn. But was Embiid in that game? Because the team's going to run through Embiid and Maxey. Now, like I said, I like Grimes. I think he's fine, but I'm not building around him by any means. Moving over to center. I love Robert Williams today. Absolutely love Robert Williams today. I'm going to be all over him on DK. As long as he's playing. Got to keep your eye on the news if he's ruled in or out, but I like him quite a bit. Joker, love him. Told you guys he's going to be my center on FanDuel. Probably going to be my primary center on DK today, but I'm probably going to be rocking two centers, honestly. I have no idea what that means, new beginnings. Walker Kessler's definitely viable at 6,700. Happy to play him. Sengun, kind of the same deal. He's fine at his price. Are you talking about Kyle Filipowski? This is where it gets interesting for me. As much as I hate playing Joel Embiid, I think he's definitely viable at only 9,400 over on DK. I'm not interested in Nick Claxton. I know he's cheap, but I'm just not going there. But Embiid at 9,400, definitely going to be punting him. You took Klingon, should I take Robert Williams? I would say this. I would not play Donovan Klingon at all. I actually took him out of my player pool. Because last game, Klingon played 17 minutes and he only had 2 fouls. Robert Williams did not start and came off the bench and outplayed him. Played 25 minutes. I just think Robert Williams is a better basketball player, honestly. I really do. And I think the team knows that as well. I'm not telling you to play Robert Williams, but I would say I'm hard fading Donovan Klingon, personally. No, I do not want Kyle Filipowski tonight. I do not. But Embiid, I like him as a punt center. He's only pulling 8% ownership. If you're looking to get different at center, and Embiid has that upside somewhere in him. We haven't seen it this year, but we know it's in him. We do. Day'Ron Sharpe, he's a fine value center. Talked about most of these guys. I'm not going to be playing Mark Williams, Nurkic, Klingon, Jackson Hayes. If you just want to punt it, that's fine. I'm not going to be playing him. That's really it for DK. DK and FanDuel both are done. Hey, I just looked over at your lineup, brother. And I was so surprised. I was like, damn, this looks like a lineup that I would run. And then I see you got this guy in there, Jaden Springer. Why are you playing Jaden Springer, my boy? But the rest of your lineup looks fantastic. I love the rest of your lineup, but Springer caught me off guard, buddy. You caught me off guard with him. I know if anybody, Eight-Legged Ape has that insider knowledge, though, so I can't wait to see what he says. The very first person, I think it was last year, it might have been the year before, my memory's terrible, that told me to play Mark Williams was Eight-Legged Ape. He's like, hey, this dude is a beast. You need to get on him before the public does. And we did. He was eating. Okay, I got you, 8. I got you. I'm going to put him in one lineup out of my 150 maxes tonight just for you, pal. All right, guys. We went through FanDuel. We went through DK. We're at the part of the show now where you guys build your lineups. And if you have any questions, leave me open in the background. And that's what I'm here for. I'm happy to answer your questions. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We do these shows every single day. Also, I'm thinking about I might do a NASCAR show in the morning. That should be fun. And, or tomorrow, I mean. And join our Discord. It's linked in the chat. Link down below in the description. And we'd love to have you in there. You can ask me questions anytime in there after the slate starts. That's what I'm here for. And yeah. Luka or Nugget center? It would be Joker, the Nugget center. Cam Whitmore? Cam only if you were MMEing. I absolutely would not play Cam in a single entry. Would not play him in a single entry. How many minutes on Springer to get him? Let me look at Springer. I don't think Springer's going to play meaningful minutes. I'm not playing Springer. One lineup out of my 150 max just because my boy 8. Played 11 minutes last night. Yeah, LineStar's projecting him for 8 minutes. And my projection's in the background. I had him for 6.9 minutes. So I just cannot play Springer myself. Cannot do it. Yeah, Tari Eason is out. But Jabari Smith is back. And he's going to take up significant minutes. He played 38 minutes last night. Jabari Smith did, and Cam Whitmore played none, which I know Tari was in, and Cam Whitmore should get some minutes today, but I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's 20 plus, and that's what I would want. Yeah, since they repaved the track, man, it's more super speedway racing, pack style racing. 6K DK utility. Let's take a look and see. Just by straight projection. I assume you already have Cam Johnson because I told you I love him today. Going to be all over him. If you don't have Cam Johnson and Jabari Smith Jr., it would probably be Christian Braun. In order for me, it's Cam Johnson, Jabari Smith Jr., Christian Braun. Yes, I like Jalen Wilson today. I do like Jalen Wilson today. Welcome into the Discord, George. I appreciate you joining, buddy. Let's take a look at some ownership here. It's looking like our most owned plays on FanDuel. Amon Thompson has jumped Jabari Smith Jr. Whoa, that's big news. Nets are starting Killian Hayes, Keon Johnson, Cam Johnson, Williams, and Claxton. Sixers starting Maxi Grimes, Oubre, George, and Embiid. So Killian Hayes is a home run now. Killian Hayes is a home run now. I'm updating the core in Discord for FanDuel. I still like my DK core, but Killian Hayes home run play on both sides now, guys. Killian Hayes is now a home run play, gentlemen. Oh, I look over right as you say big crash. The 41, is that Mayer? That's Sam Mayer, isn't it? 42, I'm not sure who the 42 is. I need Harrison Burton to survive the crash, though. Oh, it's Anthony Alfredo. 2 weeks in a row he's crashed. Fun fact, I play iRacing with Anthony Alfredo. Yeah, Killian Hayes is gonna be one of the most owned plays now, I think. They got him at 28.7 on Line Star. I think he's gonna be far exceeding that. Far exceeding that. Zaire Williams looks a lot better now. I still really like him. I know I took him out of the core, but I still really, really like him. Wouldn't that be nice? New beginnings? That would be nice. Kamara, Klingon, or Claxton? Kamara for me, buddy. Kamara for me. Really not even close either. You guys got questions? That is what I'm here for. Hit me with them. It looks like they're holding steady on Killian Hayes there. I'm going to be over that 28% on him, though. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, that's fine. New beginnings. I like that. A lot of my lineups are going to look similar to that. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, a lot of my lineups are going to look very similar to that. So, happy to run something like that for sure. That's how you win, though. You find those low owned diamonds in the rough. That's how you win. Let's look at some DraftKings ownership. Denny, Jalen Green, Cam Johnson, three most owned over on DK. Killian Hayes, 3,600. Just got to play him. Just got to play him. See Time Lord block LeBron the other night? No, I didn't see that. I did not see that. I would like to, though. If you got it, send it to me. No, DK. The cores are posted in the Discord now. They're all posted in the Discord. 5,800 forward on DK. Let's take a look. I would say Denny, but he's a little bit more. Yeah, it's gonna be Czar Williams or Cam Johnson. I assume you already have Cam Johnson because he was a core piece, but if you don't, it's gonna be where'd it go? Jabari Smith Jr., Kamara, or Czar Williams, one of the two. Oh, I got you. I got you. But Jabari, Cam Johnson, Kamara, or Zaire Williams, all three of the guys project very closely, and I like all four of them, and I like all four of them. So any of those four, Smith Jr., Johnson, Kamara, or Z Williams. Why am I getting 23% Aaron Holiday? No siree. We are not doing that. And I am not getting enough Cam Johnson. I'm not getting enough Time Lord either. $14 to lock. 14 minutes. You got questions? Hit me with them. That's what I'm here for. We do these shows every day. If you're interested in NASCAR, I'm going to be doing a show tomorrow for NASCAR. So, plenty of things to talk about, to look at. Just subscribe. That's all you got to do is hit the subscribe button. Almond Brooks or Green George? Almond Brooks for sure. Almond Brooks for me. It's really not even close. And so you need $3,800. Just so I'm reading it right, Don. You need a $3,800 utility. It's really slim pickings for $3,800, Don. I'll say this though: you already got Killian Hayes. It's one of these three players: Jock Landale, Tyrese Martin, or Aaron Holiday. One of those three. They all project similar. I cannot speak. Similarly, I'm having a speech impediment. Landale, Martin, Holiday. They all project close together. If I had to pick one of the three, it would be Aaron Holiday. But you got to understand, anybody in this price range is a pure punt. Pure punt. Be Aaron Holiday, in my opinion. That's who I would rock. I don't know if anybody tailed in the Discord. I projected Kyle Busch to win the Truck Series. He won it. And I also projected Austin Hill to win the Xfinity race. And he's looking good with 10 to go. We don't just post DFS content in our Discord. We also have picks. We have straight sports betting. Whatever your desired flavor of betting is, we offer it. We offer it. I don't really care for Luca today, Don. I much prefer LeBron James to Luca. I would rather have LeBron than Luca. Hey, why's the pace car out? Conflict. I missed it. I was looking at my screen. What happened? How's our core looking right now? Our NASCAR core today, guys, for the Xfinity race was Austin Hill or Jordan Love. Pick one. Um, Sheldon Creed and Harrison Burton. Looks like Creed's doing well. I need Burton. How's he doing? You think Lonstar died? Wow, what happened? What am I missing? It's working for me. 'LeBron James is available to play, so that is a good thing to note. 4 minutes, guys. 4 minutes to get your lines in. Embiid, Bridges, Bron Jalen, or Joker Kamara? It would be Joker Kamara for me, but I will say the Embiid Bridges Side is very intriguing if you want to get different. If you're in a large GPP and need some get different pieces, it would be Embiid Bridges, but I think Joker Kamara is the safest. Let's get it. Let's win some money, gentlemen. Love seeing the Syndicate Sports viewers atop the leaderboards. Hey, I'm glad, Random. That's all I want to do is help everybody out, man. I want everybody to win some money. Ooh, that's rough, Power. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. I am sorry to hear that. That is rough. I need to play more PGA, more golf. I actually do pretty well when I play PGA. I don't know, I don't play it very often. All right, guys, 2 minutes to lock. If you got any questions, get them in, get them in, get them in. If not, I'm gonna hop off here and watch the end of this race. Looks like it's gonna be a good one. What happened to Jesse Love? All the way back in 10th. That's crazy. All right, gentlemen, I'm out of here. If you have any questions at all, please join our Discord. It's linked in the chat and down below in the description. Any questions you have throughout the night, I'm always available in there. You can at me at any time. My name's Holy Jack Daniels in there. With that, I'm out of here. Good luck, guys. See you all tomorrow. Later.